Men with long hair taking a lot of estrogen pills and then wrapping tape around the bottom, just so he can get smaller, so that he could go into the ladies' room. The students around him didn't reject him. He wasn't a pervert. It was just that he wanted to be a girl. He wanted to do ballet like the other girls. He wanted to wear a beautiful dress. Laura was afraid to drink water every time she went to dance class, afraid she'd have to go to the toilet out of the blue. Only when the class was over, he would only dare to run into the bathroom. Then he would take a big gulp of water, and then ruthlessly ripping off the tape underneath, peeing through the pain. From a very young age, Laura had always felt like a girl, but the male body of adolescence, Laura was developing in every way. She was starting to develop. Luckily, Laura's father didn't object to his son doing this. He took him to a doctor and prescribed him, through estrogen, to control male development. But organs can be changed slowly, but it's hard to change the body you're born with. Every time he dances with Crowley is the most uncoordinated, even when he has given more than the others. Each time he would work his feet until they bled. Still, because of his uncoordination, he was criticized by his teacher, but he didn't intend to give up. Instead, he practiced alone at the dance, practicing over and over again, because Laura didn't just want to be a girl. She wanted to be on stage, dancing the ballet she loved. That day in church, the class director suddenly said, "Did anyone suggest that?" Laura to go into the ladies' room, listening to the teacher's question. Laura silently bowed her head. It was a good thing that no one in the class raised their hand. The kindness of his classmates and father. He was convinced of his dream. That day his father took Laura for a review. The doctor told them that he would arrange the fastest possible sex change operation for Laura, but only if Laura could maintain her current body. Laura was very happy to hear this news. He was about to achieve one of his dreams. The next day Laura took her brother to class. Her brother's teacher asked Laura if she was his sister. Hearing the question asked by the teacher, Laura was happy for a long time. The day Laura attended a class reunion, some of the girls got a bit carried away with their drinking. They asked Laura to pull down her trousers to show them if they were male or female. Faced with a lot of pressure, Laura pulled down her trousers. With the taunts of those around her, Laura's dignity was trampled on. He thought he had been accepted by his classmates, but they were only superficial. Behind his back, they were talking about Laura. In the evening he went to his father to tell him what had happened, but his father said it was okay. The world is a big place and there are all kinds of people. You don't have to make everyone like you. You just have to be yourself. Hearing her father's reassurance, Laura didn't feel bad anymore. The next day he took out his dress from the wardrobe and put it on. Looking at herself in the mirror, Laura was more convinced of her dream, but Laura was just like any other girl. She had a boy she liked, and he doesn't mind who he is. The two were moved by love. In the end, Laura restrained herself. He wanted to be a real girl, and then fall in love. The next day he went to the doctor and asked the doctor to operate on him this week. The doctor said there was no problem, but when he examined his body, he was found to have been wrapped in tape for a long time, which had caused a serious infection down there. He had to wait for the inflammation to go down before he could have the operation. Laura was devastated to hear that the operation had to be postponed, so he secretly increased the dosage himself. He trained harder and harder every day. This made Laura's health deteriorate. The disappointment made Laura depressed. His father saw what was going on with his son. He told Laura to keep going. He told him to keep going. In the past, Laura would have affirmed his father's answer, but now he just smiled. As a result, that night, he made a big decision. Soon there will be a big ballet performance at school. Laura trained harder to be able to perform on stage, to train harder and harder, and just as he was about to go for a break, he fainted. The doctor told him if he still wanted to have surgery, he would have to rest during this time, but Laura didn't want to give up the opportunity. He wanted to practice. For the first time, his father opposed him and locked him out of the house, so Laura missed the opportunity to go on stage. He had to sit in the audience, watching his classmates on the colorful stage. On a colorful stage, Laura was very envious of them. After this incident, Laura listened to her father very well. He stopped asking about the surgery. He didn't go to the dance studio to practice. He wanted to accept his ordinary life, but Laura found it was worse than death. So the next day when his father went to work, he called 120 for himself. Then Laura pulled down her trousers, and then he grabbed the scissors, and then he took the scissors and attacked himself. And when he woke up again, he became a real girl. He'd fulfilled his dream. Instead of his father blaming him, he saw her as the pride of the family. He praised her for being more than a man. And that's the end of the girl in the film. This is a film that makes you feel. A transgender film that really stings. Perhaps a time of true freedom would not be measured by gender, no matter what they are at birth. Everyone is a free agent in terms of their gender, to have a personality and a life of their own. Each person is a person because they want to be, not to conform to society's gender norms.